Hello everyone, welcome to my video tutorial today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a fun pop-up card design. I've seen quite a lot of these called a trio cube card. So this is the one I'm going to show you how to make today, but it looks great for any occasion. This is a Christmas one that I've made with a little snowman for detail. So you will need today a sheet of thick Whisper white cardstock. If you wanted to change the colours up, you can. I would recommend you using any colour of our cardstock. I would stay away from regular Whisper white because it may not be thick enough. It can be quite flimsy, regular Whisper white. So you're going to need your trimmer, ideally with a scoring blade as well. If you don't have a scorer on your trimmer, you can use any scoring tool. So I'm going to cut my piece of A4 down so that it measures 20 centimetres by 21 centimetres. So the width of our A4 is 21, so that now measures 21 across there and 20 along there. So when I talk about the long side is the 21 centimetre side. I'm going to score now at 5 centimetre intervals. So I'm going to score at 5, at 10, at 15, and at 20. Okay, like so. So I have four vertical lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to turn it so those lines are now horizontal, and I'm going to switch to my cutter and I'm going to cut at 5 centimetres one strip and another that is 5 centimetres wide. Now that's me done for my scoring right now. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold all of my edges and make sure that they are really crisp. And I do this with a bone folder. So just pushing along each one of those lines to make sure those score lines are lovely and crisp. Okay. That's 2. And that's 3. So there are 3 elements to this card, and once you've made one of these cards, I promise you will be making more. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay these strips out with the flap at the top and pop them to one side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to need 6 pieces of coloured cardstock that measure 4.5 centimetres by 4.5, and with that we're going to need 6 patterned designer series paper that measures 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres. And what we're going to do is we're going to mount them all together so that they all look like this. Okay, and these are going to be the pieces that we put on the front of our boxes. Okay, so these pieces are actually going to go with the top skinny little flap at the top. We're going to pop those on the top 2. Okay, now if you have directional paper, now is a really good time to make sure that your directions are up the right way. So I'll just put all these on. So these squares on these strips are 5 centimetre by 5 centimetre. So all we've done for our matting and our layering is we've reduced each size by just 0.5 centimetre. And that for me is a normal kind of mount layer. That's what I tend to go with, 0.5 centimetre. And then that way everything is nice and consistent. Okay, so we have those like so. Now we're going to turn them over, and putting these 2 pieces to one side, you'll also need 6 pieces of DSP. You can either have it the same pattern on the inside as the outside, or you can have a different. And then what we're going to do, again with the flap at the top, we're going to put these on the bottom 2 squares, and all will become clear as to why we do this in a moment. So we're only actually covering 4 squares on our strip, but 2 on the front and 2 on the back. I do like the repetitiveness of this card. And I think this is card number 7 that I've made like this. Right, so we can then put those 2 to one side. So then now we can put this together, and what we're going to do is we're going to just bend it over, and then the flap is secured on the back. So then what we have is we have the top and the bottom, and then inside we can see the back and the bottom. Okay, so for this I'm going to use some seal. You want to use a glue that is quite sticky, so either use a seal or use tear and tape, so double-sided tape, because you don't want to be sitting there and having lots of glue kind of popping out the sides. And then do the same on the other. Okay, so there we have our first set of cubes. Now for this piece here, the taller piece, is actually this big piece here. So you'll notice we can't really see a join. So the reason for that is because we're going to cover everything up. So to start with, you can either have it inside or you can have it outside. If you have it on the outside, I would recommend putting the pieces on the inside first. So this is our front. So we open it up, we know we need to put the inside DSP there and there, okay? So we'll stick those on like so. And then again, in a similar way that we've done the bottom, we're going to turn that over, so we've got this flap down this side, and we're going to put one of these on there like so. Okay, and then the other one is going to go here, but because we're going to stick it together first, so I'm just going to run my tape down the edge. And then the easiest way to do this, if you fold that back over and fold that over the top like so, that is now stuck exactly where we need it. And then this piece is going to go on there like so. So that is the basis of the card. So it's actually a lot simpler than you think it's going to be. Now, to put these 3 pieces together as a card, what we're going to do is I'll show you this one. It gets stuck so that this piece is there like so, and then these pieces, remember this is the back, this is what we're going to attach our glue with. We're going to pop one on there and one on there. Okay, so it looks, when you pop it, you can actually pop it in an envelope. Now this I can't pop in a C6 envelope because this is too big, it's too tall, but you could have it that it doesn't overlap, and then you can put it in a C6 envelope. Okay, so just adding, still getting to grips with my seal. I'm getting there slowly, but ultimately, I'm not going to lie, I do prefer a wet glue. So we're going to line this up, we're going to line this bottom edge with the bottom, and then the side. Okay, so if you can see that we're not going over the bottom of that edge, and then this one, turn him round. Okay, and then repeat the same this side. Okay, so I'm just lining that up with the bottom, and then the top will line up as well. So now we have the basis of our card, and then when you send it, you can just pop it in an envelope like that. Okay, so for our design, I have a couple of die cut pieces. I have a Whisper White circle that comes from our Stitched Shapes dies. I have a scallop circle that comes from the layering circles, and I have this groovy shape that comes from the Hippo and Friends dies. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our sentiment, and our sentiment comes from the Forever Fern stamp set, and I'm stamping this in Shaded Spruce, which is the same colour as the cardstock that I've used on my card. And this sentiment says, "To a friend that makes me smile." Okay. And then we can mount all of this together. Okay, so I'm laying this white onto the Granny Apple Green nice and flat with some liquid glue, and you can see that scallop is just ever so slightly bigger, and then this whole layer is going to be added to my groovy hippo shape with a dimensional just to lift it ever so slightly. Okay. Now, the trick for adding this to our card, we are going to put a dimensional on and just fold it round. So can you see that? I've just bent it round that edge. And then all I'm doing is I am lining it up so it's in the middle. And then what happens is when you stand that up, it does stay where you want it to stay, okay? And then the last little thing for my card today, I'm going to stamp two little flowers because I feel like it needs something. And these flowers come from the Basket of Blooms. I'm using this little image here. And I'm stamping this in Granny Apple Green, which is the other colour that is on our designer series paper. So I'm going to stamp one and I'm going to stamp two. This is just some scrap Whisper White, and it's thin Whisper White. And I'm going to use the small bloom punch to cut out my flowers, like so. One, and then two. So bring them back in. Now, a really good trick with these flowers, I think they look a bit dull when they stuck on flat. So I'm going to take it in the palm of my hand and I'm going to use the lid of my glue, push in and turn. Now what that does is that just gives them a little bit of life. Okay, so just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pop these on our card just by our sentiment, like so. So I'm going to put one at the top, just there, and it's just on the edge of that die, and then one over here, so I'm not covering up any of the sentiment. Okay, and this glue is super sticky, so you won't need to worry about them kind of falling off. You just want to hold them in place for a second. And there we have our finished trio cube pop-up card. Okay, so here's another one that I've put together. So for this one I have used some shade of Misty Moonlight, and this paper comes from it's the textile paper, and then I've used the layering circles and the stitch shapes again, and then the snowman comes from the annual catalogue, like so. So you can have it Christmas, you can have birthdays. I think these cards are great for sort of children because they're super fun, and I think the children would find it really funny that a card can stand up like that. So that is my tutorial done for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave me a comment below. If you have any questions about the products that I've used, or you'd like to order anything, feel free to drop me a message. But I have also included the link to my online store below for you. So have a great day, and I hope to see you all back here very soon. Take care. Bye.